They taught you that you're incomplete, that somewhere out there, another person exists who will make you whole. Half plus half equals 1. That's the math they sold you, and you believed it. So you walk through the world feeling like you're missing something, like there's a gap inside you that only another body can fill. And every time you meet someone, you pour that expectation onto them. You ask them to carry weight they never agreed to carry. You ask them to fix what you never tried to fix yourself. But the math is wrong. Half plus half doesn't make you whole. It makes two broken people standing next to each other, wondering why nothing feels better. You don't become complete by finding someone. You become complete by being someone. And if you can't stand yourself in silence, if you can't exist in a room alone without feeling like something's missing, then you're not looking for love. You're looking for a distraction. You're looking for someone to fill a void you refuse to face. This isn't about rejecting connection. It's about understanding that connection built on desperation is just two people drowning together. You're not half of anything. You're either whole or you're empty, and that choice is yours. Before we continue, if this resonates, hit that like button, follow the channel, and drop a comment letting me know where you're watching from. It helps more than you think. The world runs on a lie, the lie that you need someone else to be enough, that solitude is failure, that being alone means being incomplete. But the men who understand power know something different. They know that needing no one is what makes you worth needing. That's where this begins. There's a kind of man who walks through life holding an empty cup. He doesn't know he's holding it, but everyone else can see. He extends it toward every person he meets. He doesn't say it out loud, but the request is clear. Fill this. Make me feel less empty. Tell me I matter. Give me proof that I'm not alone in a way that feels unbearable. This man is not evil. He's not malicious. He's just hollow. And hollow men are dangerous, not because they harm intentionally, but because they consume without knowing it. They enter relationships the way a beggar enters a marketplace, not to trade, but to take. They don't see people, they see solutions, temporary fixes for a permanent problem. The problem is this: he hates being alone, not because he's social, because he can't tolerate his own company. When the noise stops, when the distractions fade, when it's just him and his thoughts, he collapses. So he seeks, he chases, he scrolls, swipes, texts, calls, anything to avoid the silence, anything to avoid the reality that he doesn't like who he is when no one else is watching. And this is what makes him a parasite, not by choice, by structure. He needs someone else to feel okay. He needs validation, attention, affirmation. He needs to be seen because he doesn't see himself. And when he finds someone, when someone agrees to fill that cup, even for a moment, he drains them. He doesn't mean to, but need has no manners. It takes until there's nothing left. The tragedy is that he thinks this is love. He thinks dependence is connection. He thinks the fact that he can't function without her means she's important to him. But that's not importance. That's addiction. He's not in love with her. He's in love with not being alone. And the second she stops filling that function, he'll resent her. He'll blame her for the emptiness that was there long before she arrived. This is the man who says things like, "You complete me," and it sounds romantic, but it's not. It's a confession that he was incomplete before, that he's built his sense of self on someone else's presence. And the moment that presence shifts, the moment she has a bad day or needs space or stops performing the role he assigned her, he fractures, because he was never whole, he was just distracted. The empty cup man doesn't attract quality, he attracts chaos, because people who have something to offer don't stay with people who only take, they leave, and what's left are the people who are also empty, also desperate, also looking for someone to fix them. So he ends up in relationships that feel like mutual life support, two people keeping each other barely alive, mistaking dependency for devotion. And here's the part no one tells him: it will never be enough. Even if she pours everything she has into that cup, it won't fill, because the cup has no bottom. The void he's trying to fix isn't about her, it's about him. And until he stops asking other people to solve a problem only he can solve, he'll stay empty. He'll just have company while he is. This is the half man, not because he's missing a person, because he's missing himself, and no one else can fix that, no matter how much they love him, no matter how hard they try. There's an old parable. It says, "Don't chase butterflies, build a beautiful garden and the butterflies will come. And if they don't, you still have a garden. That's not advice about patience. It's advice about inversion, about understanding that attraction isn't about pursuit. It's about presence, about becoming the kind of person worth approaching. The whole man understands this. He doesn't wait for someone to complete him because he's already complete. He doesn't sit in his room staring at his phone, hoping someone will text him into relevance. He builds, he refines, he creates a life he doesn't need to escape from, and that changes everything. Building the garden means this: you learn to be alone without being lonely. You stop treating solitude like a problem and start treating it like a resource. You read, you train, you think, you build skills, routines, standards. You create an internal world that's rich enough that you don't collapse the second external validation stops. You become self-sustaining. This doesn't mean you don't want connection. It means you don't need it to function. There's a difference. Want is abundant, need is scarcity, and scarcity repels. People can feel it. They can feel when you're reaching for them out of desperation versus when you're extending an invitation. One feels like a trap, the other feels like a gift. The whole man is not hiding, he's not avoiding people, he's just not begging, he's not performing, he's not contorting himself into shapes he thinks will make him lovable. He's just here, solid, grounded, present, and that presence is magnetic in a way desperation never is. This is why the garden works, because while he's building it, while he's focused on becoming someone he respects, he stops broadcasting need. He stops sending out the signal that he's broken and looking for someone to fix him. And when that signal stops, a different kind of person starts to notice. Not people looking for someone to save, people looking for someone to build with. The butterflies that come to a garden aren't there out of pity. They're there because the garden is worth being in, and the man who built it doesn't need them to prove anything. He's not keeping score. He's not waiting for external validation to confirm that he did enough. He's content, and contentment is rare enough that it stands out. But here's the part most people miss. Even if no one comes, the garden is still there. Even if the butterflies never arrive, he still has something he built, something he's proud of, something that reflects effort, care, intention, and that means he's not devastated by absence. He's not crushed by rejection, because his sense of worth isn't tied to whether someone else shows up. It's tied to what he's built, and what he's built is his. This is the shift, from external validation to internal foundation, from hoping someone will save you to becoming someone who doesn't need saving. The whole man doesn't fear being alone because he's built a life he actually wants to live. He's not using other people as anesthesia. He's inviting them into something already whole. The garden isn't a metaphor for isolation. It's a metaphor for self-sufficiency, for becoming the kind of person who adds value instead of extracting it, for understanding that the only way to have a healthy relationship is to not need one to survive. And once you don't need it, once you're whole on your own, that's when you're actually ready. Beggars can't be choosers. That's not just an expression, it's a law. When you approach the world from a position of need, you take whatever you can get. You don't have standards because standards require options, and options require value. And value requires that you have something to offer beyond your need. The half-man is a beggar. He doesn't see it that way. He thinks he's just being open, available, willing to love. But what he's actually doing is accepting anything that feels like attention. He matches with people who drain him. He stays in situations that hurt him. He tolerates disrespect, inconsistency, dishonesty, because having someone, anyone, feels better than having no one. That's begging. That's scarcity. And scarcity attracts predators, people who can sense desperation the way sharks sense blood. They know you'll accept less. They know you won't leave. They know you'll twist yourself into whatever shape they need because you're terrified of being alone. So they take, and you let them, and you call it love. The whole man operates differently. He's not a beggar, he's a king. And kings don't beg, they invite. There's a difference. A king has a kingdom, he's built something. He has standards, boundaries, a life that functions without external input. And because of that, he doesn't need to convince anyone to stay. He doesn't perform. He doesn't chase. He doesn't lower his standards to make someone feel comfortable staying in his life. He offers something real, presence, stability, depth, but he doesn't offer it to everyone. He offers it to people who match his level, people who also have something to bring, People who aren't looking for someone to fix them, but someone to grow with. And if those people don't show up, he doesn't collapse, because his kingdom still stands. He's still whole. This is what separates the beggar from the king. The beggar's happiness depends on whether someone else shows up. The king's happiness depends on the life he's built. One is fragile, the other is fortress. The beggar asks, "Will you stay?" The king asks, "Are you worth inviting?" The beggar negotiates his worth downward, hoping someone will accept him. The king holds his worth steady and waits for someone who meets it. The beggar tolerates because he's afraid of being alone. The king leaves because he's more afraid of being with the wrong person. And here's the brutal truth. People respect the king, they don't respect the beggar. Even the people who benefit from the beggar's desperation, they don't respect him. They use him, they take what he offers and leave when they find something better. Because deep down, everyone knows, if you don't value yourself, no one else will. The whole man values himself, not in an arrogant way, in a structural way. He's done the work. He's built the foundation. He knows what he brings and he knows what he won't tolerate, and that clarity is powerful. It filters. It repels the wrong people and attracts the right ones. It turns relationships from survival mechanisms into enhancements, from life support into collaboration. The beggar asks someone else to give him a reason to live. The king already has reasons, hundreds of them, and he's willing to share those reasons with someone who's also full, someone who's also built something, someone who doesn't need him but chooses him. That's the difference. Need is weak, choice is strong. You can't be a king if you're still begging. You have to build the kingdom first. And once it's built, once you're whole, you stop looking for someone to save you. You start looking for someone worth ruling beside. There are two ways to enter another person's life. You either extract or you overflow. The half man extracts, the whole man overflows. And the difference between those two modes determines whether the relationship becomes a prison or an expansion. Extraction is simple. You take energy, attention, validation, purpose. You take because you don't have enough of your own. You look at the other person and see resources, not consciously, but functionally. You see someone who can make you feel better, less empty, less afraid, and you take from them until they have nothing left. Then you wonder why they left. Overflow is different. Overflow happens when you're so full that you can't help but give. You're not giving because you're trying to get something back. You're giving because you have surplus. You've built something inside yourself, peace, strength, clarity, joy, and it's more than you can contain. So it spills over, and the people near you benefit not because you're trying to win them, but because you're already winning. The whole man overflows. He enters a relationship with something to offer, not material things, presence, stability, calm. He doesn't need her to fix his mood, validate his choices, or give him a reason to wake up. He already has those, so when he's with her, he's not taking, he's adding. He's making her life better by being in it, not because he's performing, because he's genuinely operating from abundance. This is why whole men are rare and valuable, because most people are extractors. Most people enter relationships hoping the other person will solve something, and when two extractors meet, the relationship becomes a negotiation, a transaction, each person trying to get more than they give, always measuring, always keeping score. That's not connection, that's a business deal, and bad ones at that. But when a whole man meets a whole woman, when two people who are already complete come together, it's different. There's no negotiation, there's no scorekeeping, there's just addition. Two full lives intersecting and creating something bigger than either one alone. Not because they need each other, because they choose each other. And choice, unforced and uncoerced, is the only foundation that lasts. Overflow also means you're not afraid to walk away, because you know you'll be fine, you're not clinging, you're not tolerating bad behavior because you're terrified of being alone. You can leave, you can say no, you can enforce boundaries without guilt, and that freedom changes the entire dynamic. She's not staying because you need her. She's staying because being with you is better than not being with you. That's real. The half-man can't do this. He's too afraid, he's too dependent. He'll accept disrespect, dishonesty, neglect, because the alternative is going back to being alone. And being alone for him is unbearable, so he stays, and in staying he loses himself. He becomes smaller, quieter, less, and she loses respect for him, not because she's cruel, because respect requires strength, and he has none. The whole man has strength, not because he's invulnerable, because he's complete. He doesn't need her to survive. So when he chooses her, it means something. It's not desperation disguised as love, it's intention, and intention is what builds empires. Overflow is what happens when you stop asking someone else to fill you and start filling yourself. It's what happens when you realize that the only way to love someone properly is to love yourself first. Not in a selfish way, in a structural way, because you can't pour from an empty cup. And if your cup is empty, all you'll ever do is take. Fill your cup, then overflow. Sovereignty means you answer to no one but yourself, not in a rebellious way, in a structural way. You've built a life that doesn't require external permission to function. You don't need someone else to validate your choices. You don't need approval to feel okay. You've become the final authority on your own existence, and that makes you untouchable. The sovereign man is not lonely, he's selective. He doesn't avoid people, he just refuses to tolerate people who make his life worse. He knows what he's built, and he knows what it cost to build it, and he's not willing to let someone dismantle it just because they showed up. Presence is not enough. You have to add value, and if you don't, you're not invited to stay. This is not cruelty, this is discernment. The half-man lets anyone in because he's desperate for company. The sovereign man guards his peace because he knows how rare it is. He knows how much effort it took to get here, to this place where he can sit in silence and not hate himself. And he's not giving that up for someone who doesn't understand its value. Sovereignty also means you don't need a relationship to feel like your life has started. The half-man feels like he's in a waiting room, like his real life begins when someone else arrives. So he waits, he postpones, he tells himself he'll be happy when he finds her. And while he waits, years pass, opportunities pass, life passes, and he's still sitting there, waiting for permission to live. The sovereign man doesn't wait. He lives now, he builds now, he creates, trains, learns, earns, grows now, not because he's given up on connection, because he refuses to make his happiness conditional on someone else's arrival. He's the main character in his own story, not a side character in someone else's. And this is what makes him magnetic, because people are drawn to those who are already moving, who are already building, who don't need rescue. The sovereign man is not a project. He's not broken. He's not waiting for someone to fix him. He's already fixed. And that's attractive in a way neediness will never be. Sovereignty is also about self-respect. It's about refusing to shrink yourself to make someone else comfortable. The half-man does this constantly. He hides his ambitions. He softens his opinions. He pretends to be less than he is because he's afraid that if he's too much, she'll leave, so he becomes less. And she leaves anyway, because no one respects someone who doesn't respect themselves. The sovereign man doesn't shrink. He doesn't apologize for being capable, ambitious, or strong. He doesn't dim his light to avoid outshining someone else. He just is, fully, unapologetically. And if that intimidates someone, that's information. It tells him they're not ready, and he doesn't try to convince them. He just moves on. This is the final lesson. You don't become whole by finding the right person. You become whole by becoming the right person, by building a life you're proud of, by developing skills, character, depth, by learning to be alone without being miserable, by refusing to tolerate less than you deserve, by understanding that your value is not determined by whether someone else sees it. The sovereign man knows this. He's not looking for someone to complete him. He's looking for someone to match him, someone who's also whole, someone who's also built something, someone who doesn't need him but chooses him. And if that person never comes, he's still fine because he's already whole. That's sovereignty, that's power, that's freedom. You are not half of anything. You're not incomplete. You're not waiting for someone to arrive and make you whole. You're either whole now or you're empty. And if you're empty, no one else can fill you. They'll just keep you company while you stay hollow. Build your life, build your garden, become someone you respect, learn to be alone without falling apart. And when you've done that, when you're full, sovereign, complete, then look for someone who matches that, not someone who needs you, someone who chooses you. Build your house first. If guests come, welcome them. If they don't, enjoy your palace. You're not a half, you're the whole. Act like it.